Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here again. The female psychopath, the female narcissist part 2. I apologize, there was a video interruption. And I would like to continue in depth on a look at the female psychopath, the female narcissist, how they work, and what their undergirding personality disorder is. In other words, what is really operating in the mind, personality, and approach of the female psychopath or female narcissist, aside from the regular typical female. Normal meaning average, or what you're going to see really within most women. Now, the female psychopath and the female narcissist both, share certain things in common. As we mentioned, is the spectrum. They both are going to lack empathy of the gentleman, basically meaning they're not really going to have a sort of understanding for where you're coming from. They have an inability to understand your needs, and furthermore, they have no desire to really be there to provide. They will begin with the love bombing, which means hypersexual, giving you all sorts of affection, attention, hypersexual in nature, wild, passionate sex, extreme, sexualized images, and treatment of you behaviors designed to turn you on, get you hooked, make you feeling like, oh, this is this wonderful woman, and I really deserve this, and I'm willing to be the best ultimate guy for her. So then you become what you feel is, your ideal guy. You're very gentlemanly to her, you're very providing for her, giving her food, shelter, money, dates, trips, jewelry, in abundance of these sort of gifts. Again, they're playing on the insecurities of the male. Now, usually the guy, being the quote-unquote stronger of the sexes, the two, and also a little bit more simple in nature, are simpler to please generally, meaning that they only need a couple things to be happy, whereas women can be more complex or difficult to appease. But the gentleman, only really needs a few things, namely attention, some quiet time, and just to be a gentleman, and to be a guy, to be a man, to be manly, and to be sensitive, in this type of situation. They're exploiting the male's insecurities by basically knowing that the guy, the male, in his position in the relationship is one to provide. So in other words, that's what most men will feel, unless they've been burned. But most men feel like, they're the stronger sex, physically stronger, are to have the breadwinner, bring home the money, provide for the woman, meaning pay for most of the bills, pay for the house, pay for the trips. She might be involved in planning a lot of this and, utilizing his money for these purposes, but he generally is the provider. And most men, especially, and I know a lot of the roles are changing nowadays, but most men take this role extremely seriously and, will become educated and attain their job, really to serve this main purpose in the relationship. And how then the psychopathic female takes advantage of is they exploit this role in the relationship. Knowing that this is how they are, they exploit that, they take advantage of that, they get more than their fair share, and they calculate it from the beginning. So, knowing that they're going to provide, it's just like, the jewelry you're going to give, rather than her providing it for herself. Rather than her providing for herself, being a self-owned woman, a self-directed woman, she's going to exploit and expect a lot of that from you. And at first, you don't realize or see it coming, and you're just behaving what you feel is normal or expected. And you're behaving as expected, but yet then she's just really starting to take versus what she's giving to you. And now the love bombing that takes place within the narcissist female, where, as we were saying in video 1, is just, hypersexually aroused, taking all sorts of measures and efforts to please you, to appease you, to get you aroused, to satisfy you, etc. Very affectionate, very sweet. You're absorbing her thoughts, you receive her undivided attention, and you're thinking, amen, my prayers for the perfect woman have been answered. Here's my princess. Here is everything I've dreamed of, and you're willing to give it all and be the gentleman. Now, the narcissistic female, will definitely be encouraging of you, especially for some time in the relationship. If she sees that things are going well, that you're doing well, maybe you're doing well in your job, your career, your business. Let's just say, for example, one is in construction. This is just a standard example, and you've got a lot of bids, you've got a lot of jobs. The money is rolling in. You're working great hours. She's delighted and pleased. And things are rolling well, and then she's treating you well. But what usually happens, especially with a narcissistic or psychopathic female, it's not for better or for worse with them. It's a very pre-calculated sort of supply-driven relationship, meaning that in bad times, when maybe you're, just say for example, you're the construction guy, and you're used to getting a lot of bids, you're used to bringing home a certain amount of money, you're used to taking her on a certain amount of vacations, or giving her a certain amount of gifts, etc., raising the kids are in all sorts of classes, experiences, and she maybe doesn't even have to work. She's living the good life. When things go bad, the money isn't there, or you experience a sickness, the love is just swept out like a rug from underneath you. Here comes the cold shoulder, here comes the non-communication, here comes this vile anger, here comes this hostility, here comes her dropping everything. She's just not going to even do the dishes, she's not going to take care of the kids, she's going to hoot and holler at you, and why don't you get a job, and why don't you do this, and why don't you do that. And I've seen this happen many, many, many times. And in the populations that I've studied on this, and there can be maybe a great age difference between the two of you, or like a little bit of a nationality difference, where she's why don't you get a job, and then meanwhile she might not be working, or really picking up her end of the bargain, picking up her end of the slack, or like working harder now to make everything work out for the both of you. And she's trying to point the finger at you, but she's taking on no responsibility whatsoever. And then just one thing leads to another. And generally now what we find is, these women start straying. They start looking elsewhere. They start going out, even in committed long-term relationships, going to the bar, going to Match.com, finding other guys, maybe that are different from you, maybe they could be the same, but who God only knows. I've heard of all sorts of narcissistic and psychopathic females who are in married relationships, end up taking money for sex, which is really strange, is very foreign to me. However, this is what a psychopathic woman will do. And then it'll turn around on you. You catch her in an affair, you catch her doing this. It could even be so calculated as to be with a friend or a relation of yours, where they're trying to take on, a sexual relationship, use their prowess again, using their narcissistic love bombing on another person, their psychopathic, hypersexualized, high-risk sexual activities on another guy, who she's now trying to dupe and deceive and manipulate into giving her all sorts of these things now, so she can keep her lifestyle going. And then meanwhile, she is, trying to then blame it on you. Well, what else am I supposed to do? You didn't have the money going in, or you weren't available for us, and You know, this is very common in the narcissistic or psychopathic female. And then, you know, where then they might demand, have all these unreasonable demands. And the thing is, we're going to do a lot of videos on this. The courts, often, the laws as they are right now, will side on the side of the female. You know, alimony, child support, yada yada. You know, where the women are making all these excessive demands and the guy is just getting nothing. I mean, and it's very hard to state your case when the law is almost not on your side in your representation. So I know there are a lot of lawyers who are very sensitive to this. And if you are in a legal battle, you know, you need to identify and find a lawyer who is adept at handling these type of cases and consider whatever you can outside of court. We're going to go into that more in future videos. However, you know, getting back to the topic of, you know, it's all your fault, you know, they will definitely turn it back onto the victim, the male in this situation, and just say, you know, they'll rationalize it, which is irrational, which is a lie. It's very cunning. It's very stupid allegation, but saying, you know, it's all your fault. What else am I supposed to do? You didn't have any money coming in, or you were sick, you know, I need sex, you know, all these various things that just erupt very abruptly. I mean, it's just, you know, they don't even give you a chance. They don't even give you a chance to get back on your feet. They don't give the gentleman a chance to get his health back. I mean, it's so very obvious that they are not there by their guy's side. They are not there for them. They are not patient. They're not even there to help them either through their illness or to help them in the relationship by earning money, helping to do whatever they can to get clients, whatever the situation would be between a true love relationship, where it would be like, honey, I understand, like, we can do this, you know, and like encouraging, and, you know, we can make it through here, and, you know, we can do it, you know, let's just cut down the bills, you know, I don't have to, you know, buy this and that, we don't have to buy this and that, we can make our sacrifices now, we can get through it. No, I mean, it's just almost like the foot is on the gas, and they're just trying to find ways to spend and have even more, even though it's tough times, and you can't expect me to live less of a life now, and I mean, it's just slanderous, and it's so destructive, and you do not need to be on the hearing and receiving end of that. That is a psychopathic, narcissistic female who's making unreasonable demands, who is exploiting their victim, who has completely no empathy, which means they have no compassion whatsoever. And it's very calculating often from the beginning, because they start making these demands right away. They don't even give the guy half a chance to explain himself, explain things, communicate, which will generally cause the guy to just shut down. Because most men, I mean, they don't want to be like overly communicative, and they don't, generally, most guys do not talk a lot. They're more, let the woman do that, especially, you know, a male in a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship. Again, when they entered into it, you know, you're my queen, you know, you get everything, you know, you deserve la la la, because you're so wonderful to me. And, you know, it's just like, you're just trying to figure out ways that you can provide better for her. And she just continues to take on, you know, take more and more and more. I mean, you could be on your deathbed, and, you know, you'd be like, oh wait, I found one more quarter, and they'd be like, oh, thank you very much. I mean, it's just really sick, and it's maniacal, and it's very evil, and it's disgusting. So I plan to develop more on this topic in future videos. I'm hoping these videos help, and we're going to definitely look at providing resources and support for you. This is Peace and Harmony with you here today. Please share and subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussions.